We're going to talk about 5 trends that I think in this industry will do very, very well in 2021. So hi everyone, welcome to the channel. If you are new, please do leave a like, comment, subscribe and hit that bell button. It makes a big difference. Now, on the screen, I want to say thank you before we get into this video. 25,000 subscribers is ridiculous, right? One thing is for sure, since starting my journey in April 2019, I didn't think I'd ever get this far so quickly, essentially. I knew it was going to take time, but wow, thank you, taken aback by it. It is awesome. I have, by the way, in this video, put some little timestamps because people that are asking about them, so first time using them, so hopefully I get them right. Moving on though, if you have not, follow me on Twitter. The reason being, I'm going to do a 25,000 kind of subscriber giveaway, so check out my Twitter. The details will be up tonight, so by the time you watch this video, it'll most likely be on there, so make sure you do. Link obviously in the little animation graphic. So let's talk about this video now. 5 trends that I feel that are going to do very, very well in 2021. These are industry specific. There are 5 different elements. And the first one is central bank digital currencies. The obvious one, we've got to talk about this now. Stable currencies, yay, happy days. But centralized banks are starting to get involved with this. Now, what are they? They are using blockchain-based tokens to replicate and represent the world of digital form currency, fiat, essentially. So we've seen it over time, right? Since the first ever dollar was created and all it's all wishy-washy, it's all print. This solves a problem of obviously monetary authority and stuff like that, and the ability to know how much a said country has got or not got, right? So I think this is going to be huge, this is important, and I want to see more and more of this mentioned over the course. And as a few people have mentioned over the course of my Twitter mentions, like, this was a meme. This was like, what, Bank of England are going to make a digital currency? No. USD coin? No. Well, it looks like it's becoming a reality. If you go onto the Bank of England, central banks and all kinds of stuff like that, they are starting to publish reports outlining the key requirements for basically the British coin that they're going to look to, push out in the next coming months or years or whatever. So I do think we're going to start seeing more and more of this. We're starting to see the Singapore dollar being used, for example, on the Zilliqa platform. I'll talk about Zilliqa in a bit, but it is important we understand this step, and it could be a good one, realistically, when you think about, trust, regulatory bodies getting involved for a good reason, not a bad reason. It kind of gives you that feeling that the blockchain is here to stay, which is kind of cool in a way. This would probably ferment into this as well. I know I'm going into the Forex market here, but $6.6 trillion of market is moved in currency, right? Each day. So the euro, pound, yen, dollar, etc., 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 right? We could start seeing a bigger global trend of tradable assets and trading volume in cryptocurrency by trading those CBDCs, which is kind of important. So very, very interesting to look at that. So that is trend number 1. I think in 2021 we're going to see more of that, more development and all kinds of stuff like that. Moving on into the world of oracles now. I'm pretty critical of oracles. I'm not really that turned on by them just yet, because when you look and do your research into oracles, they're very, very centralized. It's just a data hub of resources, but they are a requirement in blockchain, I believe, moving forward. When you look at the likes of, betting and information smart contracts, a smart contract will only give you a yes or no answer. Is it required? Has it done its thing? If you start putting that to real life events, you need an oracle. You need something to tell you all the information that is required, and therefore giving it to that smart contract to go, well, yes, no, 3 bags full, sir. That's kind of what's important. So we're going to start seeing more of this. So if you don't know what an oracle is, it's a centralized data source on the cloud, essentially, and it can be used in conjunction with a blockchain, which could obviously be used with the likes of smart contracts, which is kind of important. So as you can see here, multi-cloud blockchain, dynamic, all kinds of information. The amount of info on the internet about oracles is boggling. So make sure you do your research, you understand what they are. But, when you look at the likes of the Oracle website, clouds and stuff like that, huge industry. This is starting to slowly turn into the world of blockchain. Currently, the sector, as it stands, this is on Crypto Slate, 5.72 billion. The majority of that is Chainlink, I know. But in terms of sector dominance, I think this is going to increase. I think this is going to get bigger and bigger. The likes of Chainlink, the like of Band, DIA, etc. will probably get bigger and better over time. It is very, very new. Got to think, like, this is only the first year that we've had Oracle's really push to mainstream kind of, you know, hello, you're there. You know, that sort of area. So just got to be careful with it. It is very, very new. But oracles are very, very interesting. Once there's some sort of that big, massive information going to and from blockchains, which is, you know, encrypted, will be really, really strong, I think. And I think there's going to be a lot of new coins coming out with oracles built in as they go. The next trend, non-fungible tokens, NFTs. I've had to mention this now. Not really the biggest fan of it, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, I understand the basis of it around gaming. Collectible items and stuff, if you don't know what they are, these are like collectibles where you can basically, if I wanted to, I could sell my own bits of gear using the likes of Rarible or something like that platform. I don't really understand why people would do it. It's just one of those things. I may do it in the future, I don't know, but there's a lot of other YouTubers that do it. But in terms of if you don't know what they are, let me just find it. So it's essentially a token that is backed by you and your worth and your interest, right? So when you look at this, it's like unique, it's rare, etc, etc. So it can be anything. So as you can see here, it could be a collectible, it could be digital artwork, it could be a ticket to an event, which is kind of important, an in-game item. So if you're playing a game, you can get certain collectible things, virtual universes, a real world asset on all of the above, all of that stuff, right? Ownership, transferable and authentic, so it is on a blockchain. It's the ability to go, I own that, I bought that, it is worth X amount if I then go to sell it, etc. So it's kind of like Pokemon cards but on the blockchain, if that makes sense. So you've got obviously art, gaming, collectibles, virtual assets, obviously, yeah. CryptoKitties, it's amazing. The one that sticks out in my head, the one that broke the Ethereum blockchain, which we'll come on to in a bit in one of the other trends. So moving forward with this, I think it's going to get very, very interesting. I think it will get bigger. Gaming industries, the likes of Theta Network, stuff like that, will get bigger. We've already seen it on other platforms as well, as you can see mentioned here. So, yeah, I do think this is going to get a bigger sort of, you know, interest, as you can see here. There's some very, very big brands that use NFTs already. You can see, you don't have to spell it out for you. But as you can see here, how it's kind of the amount that they go for, it's crazy. Collectibles are a big thing, and we're going to start seeing more of it. Now, again, moving on to coin ranking here, we've got the tradable volume of NFTs essentially. So we've got 13.86 million. I personally believe that's going to get bigger. Estimated 83,000, give or take, NFTs sold in the last 30 days. And there's only 171,000 technically. Now, this is obviously a vague number. Now, obviously, you can see here over the last 30 days how it's kind of important. So, yeah, they do have a lot of trading volume overall. Obviously, it's only been around, you know, not too long, realistically. Obviously, this is kind of like new information. But as you can see here, some of them are really, really like stupid. Like, look at the prices, man. So, yeah, please be careful. You know, do your research, know what you're buying, and all kinds of good stuff. Now, moving on to the next trend. The obvious one that had to be mentioned recently, and it was kind of gearing up anyways in 2020 when you saw on the FTX exchange and other places, indices, basket of coins, indexes. So what these are a basket of coins that you can invest in as an EFT essentially, right? You know, ETF, sorry. ETF, so like ETFs, but like you don't have to have the, you know what I mean. So essentially what this is, it is a basket of things. So the likes of BTC, Ethereum, XRP, Litecoin, Cardano, you could invest in the 5 of those as a overall basket. How they do over the performance of the year, for example. Yeah. Interesting, right? So this is obviously in correspondence with this news here coming out in 2021. So it's kind of a free hit. This is the obvious one in terms of, well, yeah, what happens if this does well? Well, we've already got in the industry other ones out there anyway. So if you go onto this website here, FXCM, they've already outlined it already for you, and they've already actually give you examples of different ones already out there. Minimum requirement 25,000, the grayscale version. So there's already I think there's about 4 or 5 already live in the industry, but they're not ETFs. Obviously, in the stock market, they're called ETFs, and with that, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens over the course of this, which will allow, obviously, institutional investment coming in the market potentially. So, yeah, I do think that we're going to see a mark of the likes of Binance and other exchanges having their own basket of coins where you can go. FTX, as I've already mentioned, already have it. They have the likes of DeFi all into a basket. They have the likes of, I think they have shitcoin index as well, all kinds of random stuff. So it's pretty cool. So I think that will obviously get a lot more interest, especially for like the newbie investors, the brand new hodlers that want to just like eliminate single entity risk of an investment asset versus I can invest in the top 20 and see what happens, for example. Moving on to the final part of this, scalability. Solutions for scale, layer 1 and layer 2 solutions. Now, we're going to start off with layer 1 first. Layer 1, for example, can be the likes of Polkadot and Zilliqa, for example. The reason being because they are built on the blockchain. So layer 1 techniques essentially modified of its base protocol due to the nature of these being basically done through a hard fork. They are actually on the chain. They don't have to go anywhere else. They're already built in. So the likes of sharding. Sharding is what's coming to Ethereum in the next 2 years potentially, by the time it's all sorted. And as I've already mentioned before, with the likes of CryptoKitties crashing it and the likes of Uniswap crashing it this year, we're going to start seeing some problems with Ethereum if volume increases, and that is not live. The whole market is basically, the industry is on Ethereum. When you think about it, the majority of tokens are on there. So the likes of sharding, we're going to start seeing that increase. Now, solution number 1 is obviously Polkadot. I've mentioned it a load. I love Polkadot. I think it's absolutely freaking awesome. And I see that being a trend. I see the likes of a sharding element with the likes of Polkadot taking a bit of the mantle off Ethereum a little bit because it isn't quite ready. If we get a big impulse in volume, well, guess what? If them oracles go bang, if those NFTs go bang, we're going to start seeing problems with the world of Ethereum, pretty much. We've already had it in the last few months. So Polkadot is one option. The other option is obviously scalable layer 2s, which is off the chain. Different elements, the likes of Plasma, you know, that's a big thing as well. The Bitcoin Lightning Network, etc. as well. All of these are solutions to allow it to go off the chain to then work in a right, correct manner. Now, as I mentioned before, Polkadot layer 1, okay, it has its parachains, it works in that way. Another option is that the first chain to have sharding, which is why it's got a lot of hype around it regarding when it first launched and what it is doing now. Zilliqa has sharding enabled. Moving on to the likes of layer 2, you've obviously got the likes of Go network. You know, this is a layer 2 for the ability of the Ethereum blockchain. And finally, before we end this, we've got Matic network. So when you think about how Ethereum can kind of push to the next level, it needs to use the likes of layer 2 solutions to get there. You know, essentially to remove that bulk load. So overall, those are the 5 trends. Very, very simple, I know. What do you think? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, please do leave a like. It does help. Subscribe, comment, and most importantly, go over to Twitter and check out the free competition that you could jump in. See you later.